So dichotomous key, we're going to explore the dichotomous key using some animal tracks. So these are the imprint left on the ground when an animal walked through there. Before we do that, we're going to go over the basic rules of using a dichotomous key are that you always start with question one or phrase one. And when you get your answer, you follow the directions. If it says go to 3, guess what? You go to 3. You don't go to 2. And that you stop when you get to the name of the organism, because that's what a dichotomous key is used for. It's used for finding the identity of a particular organism. You're only going to classify one organism at a time, because sometimes students will be like, oh, this must be that because I read it and it looks like that. Well, no, there are lots of questions on a dichotomous key. In fact, if you were using a field guide, maybe you're in the woods and you're living off the land, you need to find out which berries are edible or which ones are poisonous. Same thing for mushrooms. You might use a dichotomous key to help you identify what particular species of plant you're looking at, or species of fungus if it's a mushroom, and to know whether or not you could eat that. So we are going to, this one's very simple. Some of them are 20, 40 questions long, but this one's just 5. So here's number 1. We're going to put a star there. That's where we always start. And you'll notice there are 2 statements, or sometimes there'll be 2 questions, and they should have a yes or a no answer. So if we start out looking at this particular print, we're going to ask ourselves, does that track have 5 toes? If the answer is yes, we go to step 2. If the answer is no, then we go to the second one. Sometimes these will be labeled as 1A and 1B. They call this a couplet, just like in poetry. If there's 2 lines of poetry, that's a couplet. The track has less than 5 toes, yes or no. And ours has 3, so that is less than 5. So we're going to go to step 3. So we're skipping over that. We're going to 3. It says the track has 4 toes. Looking at our little thing, that's a no. The track has less than 4 toes. That's a yes. So we're going to step 5. And then they have 3 toes with webbing. That's a no. 3 toes without webbing. That's a yes. And so the name of our organism that leads this track, notice this first word is capitalized, but the second word is not. That's because this is a genus name and this is a species name. The genus is always capitalized and the species is never capitalized. Now, why would we have an organism that has 2 names, a genus and a species? Because as scientists, what we call a mountain lion in Central Texas may or may not be the same thing that somebody in Germany calls a mountain lion. Those general names sometimes are not very specific. And so we have to know that we're, especially if we're counting something for maybe whether it's an endangered species or severe, checking whether it's the numbers are severely dropping, we have to know that we're talking about the same organism. So a genus and a species name is going to let us know that we're talking about the same thing. So let's do another one. Let's look at this. And I remember they had something about how many toes. So I'm going to go ahead and count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so now I'm going to, again, start with question 1. The track has 5 toes. This time that's a yes. So I'm going to go to step 2. The track looks like a baby's hand. That's no. The track looks like a baby's foot. That's a yes. And then I have my name. Again, the genus is capitalized and the species is not. They'll also, a lot of times, if this is typed, they will write these in italics, or when I was a kid, I call them, slanted letters. But that's the scientific name. So we're going to look at this one, and I remembered they had something about toes, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the pad, so these are the toes. So back at question 1, the track has 5 toes, that's a no. The track has less than 5 toes, that's a yes. So I'm going to go to step 3. The track has 4 toes, that's a yes. So I'm going to go to step 4. The track has nail marks. The track has no nail marks. So I'm going to look back. Is there any, do I see nail marks? I do not. So the track has no nail marks. That is Felis catus. So I will write the name of that organism. Now, when I look at letter D, I notice, oh, look, there's nail marks. Instead of going through all those, why don't I just skip to here and write Canis lupus familiaris? Because it had nail marks. That has to be it, or at least that's what a lot of students would say, and this is how they mess up. And they're like, why do you say always start with number 1? That's like, duh, why would I start anywhere else? Because of this particular situation. So we're not going to jump to something that looks familiar. We're going to always start at number 1. So the track has 5 toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a yes. So we're going to go to step 2. The track looks like a baby's hand. Yes. The track looks like a baby's foot. No. So here is our name. Procyon lotar. So if we had just skipped on to it has nail marks, we would have gotten the wrong answer. Sometimes you would have got the right answer. I'm not saying there'll never be a time where if you decide, oh, I'm going to throw caution to the wind, I'm going to skip to the end. But most of the time, especially more complicated ones, you're going to be wrong. So I want you to do E and F. Pause the video and then come back and see if you got them right. And we're going to look. Track has 5 toes? No. Track has less than 5 toes? Yes. Skip to 3. Track has 4 toes? Yes. We're going to go to step 4. Track has nail marks. Canis lupus familiaris. And then here we have 1, 2, 3. Track has 5 toes? No. Track has less than 5 toes? Yes. Go to 3. Track has 4 toes? No. Track has less than 4 toes? Yes. Go to step 5. 3 toes with webbing? Yes. 3 toes without webbing? No. So this is Larus marinus. Okay. You are going to fold this in half. You are going to put glue on this side, and you're going to glue it into your journal onto page 67, like this. And then you're going to take page 312 from your textbook pages, and you're going to make a tab and glue it also onto 67.